The Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.
More than 150,000 pensioners will have their loan interest reduced. This decision was made at a meeting held within the government administration, where Irakli Kobakhidze, Prime Minister of Georgia, met Natia Turnava, acting governor of the National Bank of Georgia, and Beka Gogichaishvili, CEO of Liberty Bank JSC. With this decision, more than 150,000 pensioners who took out loans before 2023 will have their loan interest reduced to equal the interest imposed from 2023. At the meeting held in the government administration, it was mentioned that Liberty Bank will continue to work with the National Bank of Georgia on the implementation of the initiative and specific details thereof. While discussing the issue, the head of the government of Georgia emphasized that it is important to advance to the next stage in an efficient manner and pensioners to be able to benefit from the eased conditions. MIBE, the largest bank in Moldova, has announced today that Giorgi Shagidze will extend his mandate as CEO until December 31, 2025. In the event of a successful IPO of the bank, the mandate shall be extended through December 31, 2026. The decision to extend Shagidze's mandate is subject to customary formal approvals. The formalization of this extension is anticipated to be completed in the coming days, ensuring a seamless continuation of leadership and strategic direction of MIBE. Under Giorgi's leadership since February 2021, MIBE has undergone an ambitious transformation resulting in market share gains across all business segments, a step up in financial performance, and more than tripling of MIBE's mobile users, cementing the bank's position as the undisputed leader of the Moldovan banking system. Jazeera Airways, a Kuwaiti low-budget airline, is set to commence flights from El Kuwait to Batumi starting from June 14th. This move comes as part of the airline's expansion in Georgia following Tbilisi, making Batumi its second destination in the country. The airline plans to operate 7 flights per week during the summer tourist season. The growing interest of Gulf countries in Georgia is evident, with 78,000 passengers arriving from Kuwait alone in 2023. Overall, in the same year, Georgia received a total of over 1 million passengers from Persian Gulf countries. The joint statement of the Association Council between the European Union and Georgia on Wednesday said the bloc recognized that Georgia had carried out significant reforms in a number of areas and successfully approximated its legislation with the EU acquis in many sectors. The declaration confirmed the observations made in the European Commission report on Georgia and reiterated the bloc's commitment to strengthen EU-Georgia relations, emphasizing the importance of fully exploiting the potential of the association agreement, including the deep and comprehensive free trade area and the effective implementation of the EU-Georgia Association agenda. It was also noted that the objective of becoming an EU member, which it said was strongly supported by Georgia's people, the government, and across the political spectrum, had been a key driver in this respect. The EU also urged all political actors in Georgia to demonstrate constructive cross-party cooperation and dialogue, overcome domestic political polarization, and refrain from actions that could further deepen the political tensions and hamper the country's reform agenda. This is The Checkpoints. I'm Elena Guantilashvili, author and the host of the show, and the Checkpoints team is ready to sum up Business and Economics Week for you. Prime Minister of Georgia, Irakli Kobakhidze, held his first visit to Brussels. Irakli Kobakhidze participated in the 8th session of the Georgia-EU Association Council, after which Prime Minister, High Representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Vice President of the European Commission, Joseph Borrell, and European Commissioner for European Neighbourhood Policy and Enlargement, Oliver Varhey, held a joint press conference.
Now, we encourage you to redouble efforts to fight information manipulation and foreign interference We are going to see more of that on the next European Union elections, and maybe in your election too. And the third one is, this year will be an important test for Georgia's democracy. I link with the previous reference to your electoral process. And we welcome the electoral reforms undertaken so far, and encourage you to finalize them well ahead of the upcoming elections, addressing all relevant Venice Commission and other recommendations for free, fair and competitive parliamentarian elections. And last but not least, our meeting today discusses how we can jointly strengthen Georgia's resilience. We are fully committed to your sovereignty and territorial integrity. We have a special representative for the region. We have a EU monitoring mission in Georgia. It is our longest mission in the region. I think they do an important work on a daily basis for your people. We have also massively strengthened our security and defense cooperation with Georgia through the European Peace Facility, with support in engineering, logistics, cyber defense, which amounts to 63 million to date. This support will increase this year. We have a wide range of cooperation, and the last one is your proposal to join the Union Civil Protection Mechanism, something that should be agreed by the end of this year. Prime Minister, when I visited Georgia last September, I was struck by the high number of European Union flags everywhere in the streets of Tbilisi. They were full. I thought it was for me, but no, it was because it was a welcome to the High Representative. But no, it was because they are there before me coming and after me leaving, and it shows the strong commitment of to the European Union of your citizens. And you have the responsibility to deliver on these expectations, and we have also the responsibility to seize with you this historic opportunity and step up our efforts for Georgia becoming a member of the European Union, to increase your resilience in full respect of your independence and sovereignty and territorial integrity. Thank you.
Today's Association Council marked a significant milestone in EU-Georgia relations, once again highlighting our joint historic accomplishment, Georgia's attainment of the EU candidate status. I'm honored to lead the Georgian delegation as a Prime Minister at this meeting, which represents an important juncture of our partnership. The evolving strategic relationship with the EU holds significant importance for Georgia. Our commitment to joining the community of European democracies reflects our enduring pursuit of shared values and principles. Progressing to this point has been challenging, yet each step forward has been earned through hard work. We remain committed to the journey without seeking shortcuts. The Association Council today provided us with a good opportunity to discuss the progress made by Georgia in the EU accession process. I believe Georgia has demonstrated the strongest will to uphold its commitments, and we are determined to continue on the same track. With this very conviction, we have developed and commenced the implementation of an action plan to address the main steps outlined in the European Commission communication of November 2023, without awaiting the final decision of the European Council. Today, I reaffirm the government's resolve to maintain close coordination with our colleagues in the European Commission and other services on all key points of our common agenda to advance towards the next phases. Our immediate goal is to achieve the opening of the accession talks. During the Council, we discussed Georgia's economic performance and prospects of integration into the EU's single market based on the implementation of the deep and comprehensive free trade agreement. By undertaking key reforms and measures, Georgia recorded a remarkable recovery after the pandemic, achieving double-digit economic growth for 2 consecutive years in 2021 and 2022. This upward trend continued in 2023, returning us to the pre-pandemic trajectory. We remain committed to continuing successful reforms that will bolster our economy's resilience and accelerate growth, which is essentially important for Georgia's EU integration. In this regard, we welcome ongoing work to draft in close cooperation with the Commission a priority action plan, which will lead us towards reaping the full benefits of economic integration with the European Union. Georgia remains a reliable ally and partner to the European Union in a region marked by significant challenges. We aim to contribute to regional peace, stability, democratic progress and collaboration. We will continue working closely with our partners in the EU, and this process we discuss major economic and connectivity projects that stand to bring tangible benefits to the region and also Europe. Further to this, we welcome close cooperation with the Commission on Georgia's membership in the Union's Civil Protection Mechanism. We also discussed the importance of the peaceful resolution of the Russia-Georgia conflict and the implications of ongoing occupation. On this slide, I want to reiterate our gratitude for the EU's unwavering support for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Georgia within its internationally recognized borders, as well as the EU's valuable contribution to the peaceful conflict resolution process through its specific instruments. The EU's meaningful presence in Georgia serves as a strong guarantee for peace on the ground. I'm confident that peace will enable us to bring greater stability and progress to Georgia and the region, facilitating the achievement of our collective goals for the prosperity of Europe. Thank you.
Candidate status granted to Georgia only 2 months ago shows already its benefits, and it already pays dividends, not only for Georgia and the people of Georgia, but also for the European Union. And this is why I think that if there is one conclusion to be drawn out of today's discussion, is that we have agreed to speed up our work, be it the progress on the EU path and the 9 steps that still needs to be done, be it the implementation. And this is why now it is crucial to capitalize on this decision, and this is why we've been asking our Georgian friends to speed up their work, be it the judicial reform, be it other parts of the reform agenda that we have set out together in the 9 steps, so that we can move also to the next stage, because this is the purpose of the exercise, is to get Georgia into the European Union. So we don't stop here. There's a lot of work ahead of us. And with the decision of becoming a candidate country, the work will only be more. Now, on the economic and investment plan, I think that we can be quite pleased to see that already we have mobilized 1.9 billion euros of investments through the economic and investment plans to Georgia. These are investments that are going directly to the economy of Georgia. These are going to sectors like energy, transport, access to finance, SMEs, environment, or even human development. These are investments that are delivering already growth in jobs on the ground. And I think with this plan, we have still quite a bit of potential left, which we have agreed to use even faster and even more. Maybe the most important and most tangible project that we have in front of us is the Black Sea electricity and broadband internet cable project. This is a landmark project, and not only a landmark project, but this is something which should serve as a blueprint with other partners, not only in the Eastern Partner countries, but also in the Southern neighborhood, or even in the Western Balkans. This model that we have been able to create, namely to bring green electricity to Europe and bring broadband, high-speed internet and therefore digital economy to Georgia, should serve a blueprint for all our partner regions. Of course, we discussed the transport connectivity, where new trade routes are key. And Georgia has all the potential to become the center of a new trade route, but for that we need the Black Sea to become the next corridor towards Europe. and for that we need to refurbish the ports of Georgia. I also mentioned the very imminent integration, the early integration as it is called in the EU jargon, which is also there as an open opportunity for Georgia. And the first two areas where we have made already progress is roaming and the so-called European single payment area. In the roaming, we were very pleased to see how quickly the Georgian government has moved. And by now we have everything at our disposal to make a proposal to the Council to integrate Georgia as fast as we can into the European roaming area, the roam like at home area, bringing down roaming costs significantly and data costs significantly in Georgia and for Georgians traveling around and Georgians working and living in Europe. This will be, I think, a landmark change also for the people of Georgia, something that they can see, use, as tangible, might I say, as the visa liberalization. The second area where we're working is the European single payment area, where we see still tasks ahead of us, but it is very important to note that we are open whenever Georgia is ready in terms of its legislative alignment and enforcement capacity to enforce our rules in the banking sector, to integrate Georgia as fast as we can into the single European payment area. So, as we all know, Georgia is part of our European family. And I couldn't illustrate it more than the meeting we had. You see, we are shifting to a much higher gear after the decision of the European Council only 2 months ago.
Within the framework of his first official visit, the head of the government held a meeting with the Secretary General of NATO and also participated in the meeting of the NATO-Georgia Commission. On February 21st, Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Kobakidze met with NATO Secretary Jens Stoltenberg and participated in the NATO-Georgia Commission meeting during his official visit to Brussels. Prior to the meetings, PM Kobakidze and Stoltenberg had a joint press conference. According to the government's press release, the sides discussed Georgia's Euro-Atlantic integration process. They noted the steps taken by Georgia on the integration path. The discussion specifically focused on Black Sea security and its significance for the Euro-Atlantic security. Prime Minister Kobakidze thanked NATO Stoltenberg for his personal efforts in Georgia's NATO integration process and for his support of Georgia's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The sides also addressed regional and global security issues. The Prime Minister went to Brussels together with the government delegation, which includes First Vice Prime Minister, Minister of Economy and Sustainable Development, Levan Davitashvili, Vice Prime Minister, Minister of Defense, Irakli Chikovani, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ilia Darchiashvili, and Minister of State for Reconciliation and Civil Equality, Tea Ahmediani. During his visit to Brussels, the Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Kobakidze met with the President of the European Council, Charles Michel. The discussions primarily centered around the Georgia's accession process to the European Union and the reform agenda integral to this path. Prime Minister Kobakidze emphasized that his initial visit to Brussels since assuming the role of Prime Minister is a clear demonstration of the Georgian government's commitment to prioritizing accession to the European Union. He expressed gratitude to Charles Michel for his support, acknowledging the President of the European Council's personal involvement in facilitating Georgia's EU membership. In return, Charles Michel congratulated Prime Minister Kobakidze on his appointment and wished him success. The meeting delved into the political situation in Georgia, particularly with regard to upcoming elections. Prime Minister Kobakidze assured that the government has invited the OSCE election observation mission, underscoring the commitment to ensuring free, fair and transparent elections. The discussions extended to the current situation in the occupied territories of Georgia. Prime Minister Kobakidze thanked the European Union for its steadfast support of Georgia's sovereignty and territorial integrity. He also emphasized the need for the EU's more active involvement in the peaceful settlement of the Russia-Georgia conflict. The meeting additionally addressed the security environment and challenges in the region and the world. Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Kobakidze met the President of the European Parliament, Roberta Metsola, as well during his first foreign visit as the PM to Brussels. The EP President congratulated Irakli Kobakidze on his appointment to the position of the Prime Minister of Georgia and wished him every success. In reciprocation, Irakli Kobakidze expressed his gratitude to Roberta Metsola for all her support. Dignitaries summarized the progress achieved by the country on its path to EU accession and reviewed the past and pending measures to ensure the EU integration of Georgia. The Prime Minister of Georgia spoke about the significance associated with the status of an EU candidate country and noted that the government of Georgia, under his leadership, continues to work on achieving further progress in the process of the EU accession of Georgia. Irakli Kobakidze highlighted the role of the European Parliament in the process of Georgia's accession to the EU and the significance of its support. Dignitaries assessed the dynamics of current cooperation between Georgia and the European Parliament, thereby expressing readiness to enhance the partnership. Irakli Kobakidze and Roberta Metsola discussed the regional and global security challenges and solutions at the meeting. Focus was made on the situation witnessed in the occupied territories of Georgia. Irakli Kobakidze expressed gratitude to the President of the European Parliament for the firm support of the European and Euro-Atlantic aspirations of Georgia, as well as the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country. The Prime Minister of Georgia made an entry to the memorabilia book deposited at the European Parliament for guests of honor. The European Bank for Reconstruction and Development is extending a €22 million loan to Tbilservice Group to improve the solid waste management and disposal system in Georgia's capital, Tbilisi. The funding will support the first waste treatment plant in Tbilisi as part of the city's participation in the EBRD Green Cities program. The loan is co-financed with concessional funding of up to €4 million by the Green Climate Fund. The project will prioritize the redirection of waste away from the sanitary landfill for comprehensive waste treatment, including mechanical biological treatment and the recovery of recyclable materials. This will help to significantly reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 72% compared to the baseline and improve the overall environment in the city. The project will also address Tbilisi's priority needs identified under its Green City Action Plan and will support the implementation of a GCAP action, GCAP action, Solid Waste Action 2, on the construction of new waste treatment facilities in line with the strategic objective of improving the city's solid waste management system. The European Bank for Reconstruction and Development is also providing a €28 million sovereign loan to modernize and rehabilitate the Enguri hydropower plant, Georgia's largest electricity plant. The financing extended to the plant's operating company, Engurhesi Ltd, will be complemented by a grant of around €7 million from the European Union. This financing package will fund long-term structural stability works of the Enguri Dam, repairs to the underground tunnel and penstock to ensure a more reliable power generation and grid system. In addition, the investment will reduce water leakages in the headrace tunnel and enable additional renewable energy production. The funds will also be used to construct vital infrastructure such as roads to monitor the dam, improve the safety and reliability of the electricity grid and energy generation, as well as create a fish passage downstream of the Enguri Dam. Built in the 1970s, an energy complex comprising the Enguri hydropower plant and the Varnili hydropower plant meets approximately 30% of the nation's electricity needs and are key to the country's energy infrastructure, providing a steady supply of power and stimulating economic growth. The EBRD has been involved in the rehabilitation of the Enguri hydropower plant since 1998, helping to reduce reliance on electricity imports, improve energy security, and support the country's commitment to a greener and more sustainable future. The latest financing expands on previous rehabilitation phases, which were also backed by the EU and are in line with the EU's Global Gateway strategy implemented through the Economic and Investment Plan to boost energy, digital and transport connectivity in the Eastern Neighborhood region and especially in Georgia. Overall, the EBRD and its donors have supported the Enguri plant with financing totaling 205 million euros since 1998. To date, the EBRD has invested around 5 billion euro in 290 projects in the financial, corporate, infrastructure and energy sectors in Georgia, with 83% of those investments in the private sector. What is the responsibility of energy companies for the communities where they develop energy projects and generate electricity? To what extent do energy sector investors of high corporate responsibility improve the living conditions of the locals and long-term development of the region where they operate? Today, I want to share with you one of the successful examples. The energy company has implemented hundreds of social projects, and what is also very important, it continues to implement social projects during the operational stage. The company, Ajariskal Georgia LLC, owner of the Shuakhevi HPP Cascade with a capacity of 187 megawatts, was the first company in the Georgian energy sector to set a high standard of corporate responsibility. To be more specific, the company studied the needs of the region even before the construction of the Shuakhevi HPP, and based on the results developed a long-term corporate responsibility strategy with the three main directions defined: support for education and raising awareness, support for local communities, financing of small businesses, SMEs, and infrastructure development. From the very beginning of the Shuakhevi HPP Cascade, including the operational stage, hundreds of social projects have been implemented. The most significant aspect of these projects is their focus on long-term goals. Secondly, all projects were planned and fulfilled directly with the active involvement of the local population and municipalities. The results of hundreds of social projects that we have been following for years are truly impressive. Today, I wish to highlight a particularly significant educational project with outstanding results. This initiative came to our attention last year. For several years, AGL has sponsored a preparation center for the national exams exclusively for local students. School graduates from Hulo are given the opportunity to prepare in 5 subjects: Georgian, mathematics, English, history, and biology, all fully funded by the company. In 2023, every single student at the education center, without exception, successfully passed the national exams. Notably, one of them, Keti Shavadze, achieved a perfect score of 70 out of 70 points in English. These students will now be enrolled in leading universities across Georgia. This remarkable achievement underscores how a business with a strong commitment to corporate responsibility, doubled by a well-defined action strategy and priorities, can directly impact the lives of individuals in the short term and contribute to the long-term development of the country. In the current year, AGL continues to finance the preparation center for local students. Our team will soon visit Hulo to share more about the company's educational initiatives. This educational project is just one of the many initiatives associated with AGL and the Shuakhevi hydropower cascade. The company's team maintains constant interaction with the local population, and social projects tailored to the needs of those living in the Shuakhevi HPP area are planned and implemented through collaborative efforts. More in business this week from our reporter, Natia Taktakishvili.
Geely Auto, which appeared on the Georgian market in September 2023, has represented a new model, Geely Tugela, this year. According to Georgi Shakarashvili, commercial director of Geely Sakartvelo, the company sold 51 Coolray models during 3 months last year. As he notes, high demand on Geely cars is determined by the affordable prices. Prices of Geely models range from $19,000 USD to $35,000 USD. We are glad that the interest towards Geely Coolray was very high since its introduction on the Georgian market. The model is really special due to the number of features, but the sales figure has exceeded our expectations, Georgi Shakarashvili, commercial director of Geely Sakartvelo, said. As for the new model, Geely Tugela is equipped with a 4-cylinder 2-turbo gasoline engine that produces 238 horsepower. In addition, the commercial director of the company states that in 2024, Geely Auto will offer about 8 models to Georgian customers. Company Geely Auto, part of Tegeta Cars, has been operating on the Georgian market since 2023. The company is the only authorized importer of Chinese auto giant in Georgia. In addition, the company also offers regional parts and warranty services to the customers. Geely cars are distinguished by safety system integration combination of modern technologies and affordable prices. Gocha Chhaidze, the founder of company Askaneli, declares that labor force shortage is noticed in all segments, including the production lines. The businessman cites immigration as the main reason for the challenge. It's quite difficult to find highly qualified winemakers. We also have problem in the engineering direction. From a technical point of view, there is a shortage of professional agronomists. Immigration is a very bad trend in our country as labor force is flowing out from the country. However, despite all this, our company is growing. We look at the future with optimism, said Gocha Chhaidze. Company Askaneli was founded in 1998. The company owns hundreds of hectares of vineyards, 2 winemaking facilities in Kakheti and Tbilisi, and 1 fruit distillery in Guria. In addition of production, more than 60 denominations of wine, company produces aged brandy, chacha and brut. The concept store of Krusty located in Melikishvili Street will be closed on March 1. The brand will continue to sell its products online and will mostly focus on the US market. Shota Mikaya, co-founder of Krusty, told BMDG, Krusty concept store, a unique space that combines modern shopping experience and art, will be closed on March 1. This decision was not easy to make, but it was based on the brand's global development strategy and readiness to start a new exciting journey. We are proud that we were able to create an outstanding place in Tbilisi that has hosted many social and cultural events. Together with our creativity by processing the works of Georgian artists, we have been connecting people interested in art for years. We sincerely thank our team and loyal community. Your support has made this space a symbol of creativity and freedom, reads the letter sent to the customers. According to the company's financial report, Krusty's assets amounted to 1.6 million lari. Its largest shareholder is Golden Food Investment. 90% is owned by Zaza Pachulia and 24% by Georgi Mikaya. Cosmetics of Ruhi Queen we exported to Qatar in February. The founder of the company, Tamar Kvaratskhelia, told TV program Women's Narrative. Ruhi Queen produces 14 types of cosmetics made of completely natural products, honey wax and propolis. In the Arab market, the price for Ruhi Queen cosmetics ranges from $50 USD to $70 USD. Qatar turned out to be quite a comfortable market for our company in the direction of honey. We have been operating in this market for several years. However, exporting Georgian cosmetics turned out to be a great novelty and challenge for us. We have been working on the content for more than 2 years and the result did not delay. We started 2024 with the cosmetics exports, said Tamar Kvaratskhelia. According to her, with the help of Arab partners, they plan to open a Ruhi Queen brand store in summer. Ruhi Queen appeared on the market in 2019. Its honey is already available in Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia and Kuwait. Animal producing social enterprise Ikorta is planning to build a new space where master classes will be held. Anna Kholouri, communications manager of the enterprise, told BMDG. According to her, the enterprise has started cooperation with the company Interopedia, which owns financial resources for strengthening the social projects. With the support of Interopedia, we are planning to build a completely new space in which master classes, conversations, discussions and presentations will be held. At the same time, the existing workshop will continue to function, said Khlouri, adding that about 20,000 USD is planned for the construction of additional space. In 2023, the company launched a silver collection line which features Georgian symbols. The demand for this product led to the fact that Ikorta plans to increase its silver production by 20% this year. Social enterprise Ikorta is an animal workshop which started its activity in 2011. Confectionery Sugar Free, which has been operating in the market for 2 years and includes 3 branches in Tbilisi, plans to place an island counter in shopping mall this year. The co-founder of the confectionery facility, Rusu Kwantaniel, told BMDG that the first meeting with one of the shopping centers is planned soon, where they are going to discuss all details. The demand for our products on the market is growing, especially from foreigners. We want to set up our island counter in the shopping center. In addition, we want to develop in the B2B direction and increase the number of partner facilities, says the entrepreneur, adding that they are also thinking about increasing the assortment. According to her, it's planned to revise the menu after the Easter holidays. As for the challenges, according to Russo Guandaliani, due to the fact that sugar substitutes and various ingredients are brought abroad, the cost of their products is determined by the price of raw materials. But last year, during the period of reduction in the price of raw materials, confectionery even managed to make some products cheaper. Lamp manufacturing company Lampino plans to launch a new production direction this year. Katie Nozadze, the founder of the company, told BMDG about this. According to her, for the purpose of the business development, they obtained a grant of 30,000 lari from the agency Enterprise Georgia, and they purchased new machinery. Currently, we only have a laser device which can only process light materials. At the end of February, the new machinery should arrive, and we will soon have the opportunity to work on massive wood. At first, we will start producing tables or chairs, and then we plan to expand the range. As for raw materials, we think there is no problem in the market because there is a lot of imported wood. Accordingly, we plan to find materials on the local market, Nozadze says. According to her, the unfavorable environment for small business in the country stems from the fact that the only source of aid from the state is the grant program Enterprise Georgia. Lampino is a lamp producing company that appeared on the market in 2018. Georgian street food company Tamtaki is planning to open a new branch this year. Ekaterina Gegia, co-founder of the company, told BMDG about this. According to her, the exact location of the new branch isn't known, although it will be larger compared to the existing one. In order to fully organize the new branch, we need to invest about 120,000 lari, which will supposedly be a bank loan. Our products are becoming increasingly popular among tourists as well as local customers. This year, we are also going to expand the assortment, and the new Tamtaki will be represented in new branch, says Gegia. According to her, the company employs a total of 10 people. However, due to the fact that there is a staff shortage in the country, they are planning to find new staff through various platforms and internet contacts. Tamtaki is a Georgian street food company that offers regional dishes. The company offers both meat and products and vegetarian food. The price of Tamtaki dishes range from 9 lari to 20 lari. As for the sales of products, at this stage, the company is represented by one branch in Tbilisi-Vake district, and delivery service is also available. Spice-producing company Ojahor is expanding its exporting area and will sell its products to France this year. Salome Neparidze, the company's public relations manager, told BMDG about this. The company has been operating on the market for 13 years and produces 90 types of products. According to the representative of Ojahor, the company's products are exported to 10 countries worldwide, including Germany, Poland, and Czech Republic. For the new year, we exported the company's products to Great Britain and carried out several exporting activities in America. In a few weeks, our spices should go to France, initially in small quantities. Out of 90 types of products, 21 will be exported to France, says Neparidze. According to her, the company has added new products to its assortment, including chili sauces as well as innovations in spices. Company Ojahori has been operating on the market for 13 years and currently produces about 90 types of spices. In addition, the company's activity products marinades, sauces and jams, which are sold on both local and international markets.
The International School of Economics at TSU ICET updated the Business Confidence Index. According to the document, for the first quarter of 2024, business confidence in Georgia decreased slightly by 0.4 index points and reached 17.7. The highest decrease in business confidence is observed in the trade, that's minus 15.1. The negative change in BCI for the first quarter of 2024 was driven by decreased past performance as well as less optimistic expectations. The Past Performance Index, which considers the business sector's assessment of their own economic performance in the previous quarter, decreased by 5 points compared to the fourth quarter of 2023 and reached 18 for the first quarter of 2024, with the trade and manufacturing sectors showing the highest decline. Expectations Index, which reflects business optimism, decreased and settled at 34.8 index points. Expectations for the first quarter of 2024 worsened significantly for trade and manufacturing sectors. The sales price expectations index increased moderately by 0.8 index points and reached 18.4, indicating only a significant increase in the share of businesses that anticipated charging higher prices on their products over the next 3 months. For the first quarter of 2024, the lack of a qualified labor force continues to be the most significant limiting factor, with large companies' access to finance coming in second. As for SMEs, access to finance and the lack of demand are the critical obstacles. The EU-Georgia Business Council, EU-GBC, plans to raise the issue of IMF program suspension at the meeting of the Investors' Council. EU-Georgian Business Council Secretary General Zviad Chumburidze told BMG TV's program The Analytics with Eleni Gvangilashvili, Investors' Council is an independent platform for public-private dialogue chaired by the Prime Minister of Georgia. The next session will be led by Irakli Kobakhidze. In order to promote the business and investment climate, the Investors' Council ensures dialogue between the business community, international financial institutions, donors, and the government of Georgia. On February the 6th, in an exclusive interview with The Analytics, Andrew Jewell, resident representative for Georgia and the International Monetary Fund, explained in detail why the so-called standby program was suspended, not seized, and emphasized that the suspension of the program may hurt the mood of foreign investors in Georgia. In the same interview, Andrew Jewell said that the International Monetary Fund wants to see professional staff on the vacant positions at the board of the NBG. After the live broadcast of the exclusive interview, the president of Georgia, Salome Zurabishvili, announced the competition, which will end on February 23rd, after which the president will present the selected candidates to the parliament. Georgian Dream said that the nominated candidate should meet national interests. According to the resident representative of the International Monetary Fund, the existence of the IMF program in Georgia serves as a signal for investors that fiscal and macroeconomic discipline is preserved in the country and economic policy is implemented consistently. So, Andrew Jewell does not rule out that the long-term suspension of the program should give investors pause. The Analytics verified Andrew Jewell's expectations with EU-GBC. Sandro Chumburidze says that investors need more clarity on the issue. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, confirms that they support the increase of non-executive members on the board of the National Bank of Georgia. The point is that Batak Vizhina, the chairman of the Finance and Budget Committee at the Parliament of Georgia, told BMG TV that the number of members on the NBG board might increase to 11 due to the IMF's will. The IMF did not directly respond to BMG's question on the increase of non-executive positions on the NBG board, but explained why it was better to add non-executive positions on the board. According to the organic law on the National Bank of Georgia, the board consists of 9 members, but currently there are 5 members on the board, of which 3 are executives, vice presidents, Natia Turnava, Natia Mikabadze, and Eka Galdava, and only 2 are non-executive members, Nana Gainishvili and Teimuras Khomeriki. According to the IMF, the executive majority weakens the independence of the board in performing its oversight role. Although the NBG governing board consists of 5 non-executive and 4 executive positions, vacancies among the non-executive positions have resulted in extended periods where the board has operated with an executive majority. An executive majority weakens the independence of the board in performing its oversight role. One way to try to ensure a non-executive majority is to add 2 more non-executive positions and increase the board quorum from 5 to 9. In this way, the board would have a non-executive majority when making decisions, even if all executives were present and 2 non-executive positions were vacant. These measures should be complemented by a requirement to fill within a few months any board vacancies with independent and qualified members. Andrew Jewell, resident representative for Georgia at the International Monetary Fund, told BMG.
We suspended the program, if you want to use that term. We postponed the reviews because of concerns we had about governance at the NBG. We have asked the NBG to undertake a number of reforms to address these concerns. So just for an example, because many people ask me this question, what are you expecting? What are you expecting?
Exactly, that was my next question.
That was your next question. So just I'll give you some examples. There are 4 vacancies on the NBG board right now. The board has 9 positions, 4 executives, 5 non-executives. There are currently 4 vacancies on the board. So it would be nice to fill those positions with qualified people. So that's one area where we would like to see some forward movement. We would like to have a clear succession plan in the central bank law. That's something that does not exist now in the central bank law. I mentioned that there are 4 executives and 5 non-executives on the board. We want to strengthen the role, the oversight role of the non-executives on the board. And one other reform that I'll mention, the NBG currently has what we call a presidential model, where the governor of the central bank can make decisions unilaterally. And we think it would be a good idea to move from this presidential model to what we call a collegial model, where the governor would need the support of other members of the board to approve decisions.
So what type of negotiations are these with the government, with the NBG? I mean, are there some kind of like key disagreements, or is this just a mere working process?
It's an ongoing dialogue. So I mentioned the governance reforms at the NBG that we would like to see, and we've communicated this to the NBG, and we've had some back and forth, and they've expressed their views. There are other commitments under the program where we think the authorities have fallen a bit short, and so we've said, okay, this was the program, these were the conditions that we agreed upon, and we think in this particular area you need to do more. And so again, this is an ongoing dialogue. It can be face-to-face meetings, it can be email exchanges. It's not a formal negotiation of the sort that we have when we're negotiating a new program. So the program is already there. It's more a matter of implementing or adhering to the commitments that were made under the program.
Several questions.
Okay, sure.
For example, who should be doing what at this point? When you mentioned these 3 conditions, for example, how to strengthen NBG and its independence, which is really important for the country, because I mean, we can be seeing more activity coming from the president of Georgia. We can be seeing more activity coming from the parliament of Georgia, and we also can see more activity coming proactively from the NBG, which we do not see at this point, or it's not open for us. So why is this stagnation at this point in time? That's what I want to understand.
So I can't point to one person who can fix everything. It's obviously, we deal with the authorities, and that could be at the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Economy and Sustainable Development, at the NBG. But you mentioned the president. I think the president also has a role to play. I said that we would like to see these vacancies on the board filled with qualified people. For that to happen, the president of the country needs to nominate candidates, and the parliament has to approve these candidates for them to be on the board. So this can't be just the NBG working alone. It has to be the authorities working together. And we have tried, or we have offered to play a facilitating role to the extent that we can.
What was new in the economy this week? Here is the Checkpoint's weekly news and outlook.
Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Kobakhidze met with Robin Danigan, U.S. Ambassador to Georgia. A wide range of matters pertaining to the strategic partnership between the two countries and prospects of bolstering their cooperation were discussed at the meeting. It was noted that Georgia remains committed to the furthering democratic reforms, institutional empowerment, and the country's democratic development. The parties affirmed their readiness to strengthen and further boost the productive cooperation between the countries. Georgian Economy Minister Levan Davitashvili on Friday said the government was ready to take all necessary steps to elevate its trade and investment partnership with the United States and the business community to a new level. The minister emphasized the government's primary economic strategy was to deepen economic relations with the EU and the USA. We are planning to reach out to companies in the USA and introduce them to the business opportunities available in Georgia. The US is one of the top 5 trading partners of our country, with 10% share in trade turnover, ranking it fourth. American foreign investment, with a share of 9%, have played a vital role in the development of Georgia's economy, he added. Davutashvili highlighted the resilience of Georgia's economy against past economic crises, maintenance of domestic macroeconomic stability, and creation of strong economic foundations for achieving long-term development goals. Natia Churnava, the acting governor of National Bank of Georgia, on Thursday said the decision to lower interest rates on loans taken by over 150,000 pensioners made by Liberty Bank in consultation with Prime Minister Irakli Qobakhidze was socially significant and reasonable. Interest reduction will apply for both overdrafts and regular loans. This will affect over 150,000 loans with an average interest rate of more than 30%. It's important to note that this change will not negatively impact the financial situation of Liberty Bank, Churnava said. She added her office would work intensively with Liberty Bank to decide the manner of reduction of interest rate and the start date for the change. In January 2024, the external merchandise trade of Georgia amounted to over $1.3 billion, 40.8% lower year-on-year. The Georgian National Statistics Service reported that the exports equaled $300 million, while the imports stood at $1 billion. The negative trade balance was $600 million in January 2024, and its share in external trade turnover constituted 49.5%. In January 2024, the share of top trading partners by exports in the total exports of Georgia amounted to 80%. The top partners were Kyrgyzstan, Russia, and Azerbaijan. In January 2024, the share of top trading partners by imports in total imports of Georgia amounted to 70%. The total partners were Turkey, Russia, and China. In January 2024, motor cars claimed the first place in the list of top export items, followed by ferroalloys and exports of wine of fresh grapes. The Georgian government plans to expand its control over the electrical equipment market. The list of building materials to be accessed by the Market Surveillance Agency is growing. Monitoring will be applied to more than 100 construction products, both imported and locally made, including blocks, bricks, thermal installations, and roofing materials. The quality and safety of building items will be monitored on a broad scale beginning in January 2025. According to the present regulations, the agency oversees up to 25 building materials. They claim that the majority of breaches are in the documentary section. After construction materials, the control over the household electronic devices will also be tightened. To date, the government does not control the safety of electrical devices. Despite numerous reliable brand products, many others may still be dangerous. Experts report instances of malfunctioning domestic appliances using fire and electrical circuit damage. To avert such a risk, a regulatory agency under the Ministry of Economy will begin overseeing this market next year. In Q4 2023, the unemployment rate in Georgia decreased by 0.7 percentage points compared to the corresponding period of the previous year and equaled 15.3%, the National Statistics Service reported. According to Geostat, in Q4 2023 compared to the corresponding period of the previous year, the number of hired employees increased by 74.3 thousand persons and reached 958,000, while the number of self-employed decreased by 6.6 thousand and equal to 413,000. In the same period, the number of unemployed decreased by 0.9 thousand and equal to 148,000. Traditionally, the unemployment rate is higher for men than for women. In Q4 2023 compared to the corresponding period of the previous year, this indicator decreased for women by 0.3 percentage points, while for men by 1 percentage point and equaled 13.2%. 15.5% and 16.8% respectively. The labor force participation rate is higher for men than for women. In Q4 2023, the indicator for women was 44.3% and for men 65.9%. The labor force participation rate for women increased by 1.6 percentage points, while for men it increased by 1.9 percentage points compared to the corresponding period of the previous year. In Q4 2023, the employment rate for women increased by 1.5, while for men by 2.2 percentage points compared to the corresponding period of the previous year. The Finance Minister Alasha Khutsishvili reported to the Parliament within the ministerial hour. According to him, deriving from the EU candidate status, Georgia has for the first time joined the preparations for average term program of economic reforms according to the methods developed by the EU for the candidate states and submitted the economic reform program for 2024-2026 to the European Commission within the established term. The document is an average term expenditure planning instrument for the candidate states, and it's the direction that we intend to further work in 2024, along with the complete integration of the necessary processes into the budgetary cycle calendar. According to the analysis of the last macroeconomic parameters of Georgia and EU members and candidate states, Georgia is nearly as progressed in a number of directions to the therefore states and or its leading positions according to the high economic growth, low inflation rate, reduced state debt and budget deficit, and rapid restoration of macroeconomic and fiscal parameters after the pandemic, he stated.
We'll meet next Sunday, but before that, my strong advice is to check us out on bm.g for more news and outlook on business and economics in Georgia and beyond. Take care.
The Checkpoints is presented by pharmaceutical company GM Pharma.